Battlefield 6 has now been released. Is it worth buying or not? Starting with the good things. The game is very polished. With very few bugs, they fixed the movement from the beta. They have improved the gunplay, and the destruction is very satisfying. The game has a good selection of guns, and at launch, it has more guns than Battlefield 2042, Battlefield 5, and Battlefield 1, with 45 guns. But not as many as Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3, which has 55 and 65 guns respectively at launch. But that is already compensated for the already shown Season 1 update roadmap that they have shown off to the players, where over the next 3 months we will be getting 3 new maps, 6 brand new guns, and 1 new vehicle. But all things aren't perfect, unfortunately. One of the, or even the biggest critique on Battlefield 6 has been the progression system, how it's locked behind both leveling and special missions. For example, if you want to unlock the C4, a truly iconic weapon in the Battlefield franchise, you have to first get up to level 25, which for the average player may be 15-20 hours of gameplay, and then once you reach level 25, you need to complete missions to actually unlock the C4. And that does not only go with the C4, gadgets for every class, a ton of different weapons, a whole slew of other things. And the critique has been, it's too complicated and it takes too much time. You shouldn't have to wait so long to unlock, for example, C4. But moving over to a more positive note, the starting game mode selections are pretty freaking good. It has all of the best and favorite game modes from the series. First of all, Conquest, where you capture flags on the map, Rush, where one team is attacking and one team is defending, and they're trying to blow up an objective to move the front line. Breakthrough, which is like Rush, blowing up objectives, you're actually taking them like flags in Conquest. Escalation, a brand new game mode, where the team controlling the majority of the objectives will gain 1 point and it is first to 3. Domination, which is like Conquest on a smaller map and just infantry. King of the Hill, where there are 2 small infantry teams fighting to control one objective. And of course, last but not least, Team Deathmatch, which is required for any proper FPS game. The game modes have been well received, and of course, the new Portal mode, where people can create their own game modes. So, there's not a lot of them yet. In a couple of months or weeks even, we will have tons of brand new game modes created through Portal. But for all these game modes, you actually need maps. I know, very surprising. So the next question is, are the maps actually good? So I'm gonna make a quick ranking and recap all the maps, telling you the strengths and the weaknesses. Starting with the worst map, Saints Quarters. The map is very good looking and very beautiful, but the problem is, it isn't really a true to heart Battlefield map. It's too cramped and too small, and it doesn't really have that Battlefield spirit. It's not a bad map per se, it's just not a good Battlefield map. The same thing goes with Empire State. It doesn't have any vehicles, it's very vertical, so there's campers everywhere. It's not a terrible map, as I said, but it's not a good Battlefield map, and it just doesn't fit the Battlefield theme. It can be fun, but I personally dislike it. Moving forward to the third map, New Sobek City is a pretty good map in Breakthrough, but in Conquest it is lacking. Because all the houses and all the vertical spaces are such good camping spaces. If you have a couple of objectives, you can dominate the whole map from these camping positions. But I think with a tiny bit of work, it could become a good map actually. Next up, Liberation Peak. It has the same problem. It is too cramped, it is too small, and people are forced into chokeholds. I think if they change the map a tiny bit, it could become an amazing map. But as of right now, it is mediocre at best. Manhattan Bridge is another map set in New York, and I would say it's one of the best maps in the game. Unlike Empire State, Manhattan Bridge has a lot of vehicles, it has helicopters and tanks, and it takes great advantage of the verticality of being in a big city. Merak Valley is next. It has pretty much anything a Battlefield player could ask for, but the only problem is, it just lacks that special thing that takes it from a good map to a great map. Operation Firestorm, one of the best maps in the game. If you liked it in Battlefield 3 and 4, do I have to say anything? It is just as good as it was before. So I would say it's a great map. I have critiqued maps for not having that many vehicles and being a bit small, but this map, even though it doesn't have any airplanes or helicopters, I do really like it. The infantry gameplay is really smooth. The vehicle gameplay is personally the best out of any map. It is just a great addition to the game, and that's why I say it's my favorite map. For classes, there will be no class-locked weapons, but there will still be classes for the gadgets, like Assault, who gets 2 guns and grenade launchers, Engineer, who gets rocket launchers and anti-tank systems, Support, who can heal and give out ammunition, and Recon, who is supposed to be the sniper and spotting other players. And expanding on what I said earlier, each class will have different class missions or quests to get more gadgets, for example C4 as I mentioned before. After the game releases, there will be more than just the new game mode. The Battle Royale will be coming later this year and some people suspect next year. But the game mode's available right now. The standard multiplayer, which has been in every Battlefield game thus far. The single player campaign, which will be comprised of 9 missions. Always Faithful, Operation Gladios, Night Raid, No Sleep, Moving Mountains, Nile Guard, Operation Ember Strike, Always Forever. The campaign will be from 6 to 7 hours long, depending if you're searching for all the secrets or if you're trying to do it as fast as possible. And on the single player mode, I personally played it and uploaded all the footage on my channel, and I've seen different reviews of it. It is not really anything to be too impressed about, and if you're buying the game, don't buy it for the single player mode because you will be disappointed. Only 9 levels, most of them being quite short. There's not that many custom scenes and such, as we saw in other campaigns like Battlefield 1, 5 and 4 and 3 for that sake. So out of the Battlefield campaigns, I would say it's quite easily the worst. The story is uninspired, the gameplay is poor, and a lot of the set pieces that should be cool are just really meh. So don't buy the game for the campaign, it's just a small addition on the side. But we cannot forget, Battlefield 6 is in fact a shooter. You're supposed to shoot people. How about the guns? For the guns that launch, there will be 8 different categories. The assault rifles, which has 9 weapons. The carbines, with 8 weapons. The PDWs, or pretty much SMGs, with 8 weapons. LMG, light machine gun, with 8 weapons. Secondaries, also pistols and other guns, 6 weapons. There will be 5 shotguns, 4 DMRs or semi-automatic snipers, and 4 bolt-action rifles. Most guns will be unlocked through straight up leveling up. But as I mentioned earlier, some of them, like I would say 20%, are unlocked through completing special assignments / missions where you have to do stuff like spot 100 enemies, do X amount of vehicle damage, use this gun for X amount of time, etc. The leveling up guns, which you get from leveling up, are quite standard for a Battlefield format, but the specifically unlocked for mission guns are kind of finicky, and I personally am not a big fan of them, but genuinely they're not that big of a deal. And for all of these weapons, there will be customizations for all of them, and weapon attachments which you can unlock through gameplay, achievements, and other such means. But you will also be able to purchase certain skins from the in-game store and Battle Pass. You're also able to unlock weapon accessories through gameplay by killing enemies or earning XP, and accessories are like undergrips, scopes, extra magazines, silencers, and more. And moving on to a full breakdown of everything available in the Portal game mode or the Portal map builder. Every player will be able to fully customize maps and levels totally for free. You're able to use your computer, tablet or phone. I'm not sure, some people said you're not able to do it on PlayStation, you have to do it on a tablet, but that is not confirmed. But the map customization is also free. You're also able to change things in the options like health, ammo, damage, vehicle HP, vehicle spawns and such, to create more custom game modes by changing some of the more particular settings of the map. You're also able to set starting points, spawn points, in other words, objectives, flags you could capture, rush game mode, explosive things, and if you want to create a custom racing map, you could set out checkpoints where you have to fly in certain directions and certain paths to make these things. For the Portal game mode or the Portal map customization, you're using the GDO open source dev tools for specifically map editing. And for the editing, you're able to add any structure or any building in the entire game onto the map. You're also able to add vehicles, spawn points, checkpoints. And for the game mode, anyone who owns a copy of Battlefield 6 is able to host their own server on their computer, which any player who is invited can join. If you just want to have your friends on, you can choose that. If you want anyone to join, you can also have that. Or if you just want to be alone, you can also do that. So the only thing you need to host your own server is simply own a copy of the game. And the servers are split up in two different categories. Servers who are closer to more classic game modes, where you only change the damage per second and such, will have totally normal XP, like the normal game mode. And servers who are more custom will have changed the XP model, where you get XP from every minute you're in the server. So for normal game modes, normal XP, and for everything else, you will get XP for every minute you're playing. For PC players, the recommended specs are Windows 11, AMD Razer 3700X or Intel Core i7 10700, memory 16GB, graphic card AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT or Nvidia RTX 3060 Ti or Intel Arc B508. And for PC, the minimum recommendations are Windows 10, AMD Razer 5 2600, Intel Core i5 8400, 16GB of memory, AMD Radeon RX 5600 XT 6GB, or Nvidia RTX 2060 or Intel Arc 3080, and online connection and about the same amount of hard drive space. If you own an old computer, you might have to activate Secure Boot in the boot screen of your computer. And if you bought the Deluxe or Phantom Edition, you will also get the Phantom skins for all the characters and classes, 2 weapon skins, a tank skin, Battlefield tokens, XP boost, and the Battle Pass skip, and a couple of more small things when launching the game. The same thing if you watched the Twitch streams, you will get the Shattered skin for the Bradley, the Mimic gun skin, the Landslide Soldier skin, and the Imperial Soldier skin. At launch of the game, you will also get the skins you obtain during the Battlefield beta. If you completed certain missions, the Seeker skin, the All-Terrain skin, a couple of weapon charms and patches, Domination weapon pack, a player card, the War Machine tank skin, Bat Company, dog tags, and another weapon pack. And for all of you who tortured themselves and played Battlefield 2042, you will also unlock the skins available in the Battlefield 2042 Free Battle Pass in Battlefield 6. If you have enjoyed the previous Battlefield entries, it's 100% worth buying, and if you didn't enjoy the previous entries, maybe wait for a sale and buy it then. And don't forget, there's no pressure on buying the game earlier, because as it is now, the game will only improve. They will only add more guns, more maps, more custom features to Portal, and Portal people will create more maps and guns and custom things for the players. If you haven't bought the game yet, don't be stressed out, because as it is, it will only improve as times go on. So now, after rounding up pretty much everything available in the game, the maps, the guns, the Portal mode, is it worth buying? I would say yes, it is worth buying. It's a good game. It is a fun game, in fact. I hope this was helpful. If it was, like and subscribe, and if it wasn't, tell me why in the comments.